All right, let's talk about machine learning. You hear about it everywhere, right? It's either this miracle cure for everything or it's the beginning of the end. But what's the real story? What can it actually do? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and get straight to the facts, looking at the incredible things ML can do, and just as importantly, what it can't. So that brings us to the big question. Is machine learning a super powerful tool that we're in control of, or is it some kind of magic brain that thinks all on its own? The truth, it's definitely more of a tool than a magic brain. And, figuring out that difference is everything if we want to use it the right way. Okay, so to really get a handle on what ML can and can't do, we've got to start with a clear, no-hype definition. Let's get right down to basics. What is machine learning anyway? So here's the textbook definition. It's a part of AI that lets computers learn from data. Now, what does that mean in plain English? Think of it this way. Instead of a programmer writing out every single step for a task, we just feed the computer a ton of examples. From that data, it learns to spot patterns and then make its own predictions or decisions. It kind of teaches itself. If you want to boil it all down, the whole process is really just 3 simple steps. First, it gobbles up a bunch of data. Then it searches for patterns within all that information. And finally, it uses those patterns to make an educated guess or prediction. That's pretty much the whole game right there. Okay, we've got the basics down. So now for the fun part. Let's talk about what this amazing tool can do. This is where things get really impressive. One of the most mind-blowing things about ML is its sheer appetite for data. We're talking about massive, massive amounts of information, way more than any human could ever sift through. It can find these tiny hidden patterns that we would totally miss. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. The magic only works if the data is good, because what it learns is only as good as what you feed it. And this isn't some far-off future stuff. You see this happening right now. Think about businesses spotting the next big sales trend, or doctors finding early signs of disease in medical scans. Your bank uses it to flag a weird transaction on your card. It's even behind face recognition and trying to predict the stock market. Every single one of these is about finding that needle in a gigantic haystack of data. So, once it's found all those patterns from past data, what does it do? Well, it uses them to predict the future. It's kind of like a data-powered crystal ball. And it's also amazing at something called classification, which sounds complicated, but it's not. It's literally just sorting stuff. Like your email sorting messages into your inbox versus the spam folder. That's ML doing its thing. Yeah, this stuff is all around us every single day. The weather forecast you check in the morning? Yep, that's ML. That spam filter keeping your inbox clean? That too. Even when you apply for a loan, ML is in the background trying to predict how likely you are to pay it back. It's everywhere. Here's something we can all appreciate. ML is a beast when it comes to automation. You know all those boring, repetitive tasks that just drain your soul? Well, ML is fantastic at them. And the best part is, when it handles the mundane stuff, it frees us humans up to focus on the more creative, big-picture thinking. You've definitely seen this in action. Ever talk to a chatbot on a website to ask a simple question? Or think about how social media automatically suggests tagging your friends in a photo. Companies even use it to do a first pass on thousands of resumes. It's all about doing things faster, more efficiently, and letting people do what people do best. Now, this is really cool. Unlike regular software that just does what it's told, ML models can actually get better over time. They learn and adapt. The more data they see, the smarter they get. It's like a person gaining experience. It learns from its successes, and just as importantly, it learns from its mistakes. I mean, just think about Netflix or Amazon. The more you watch or buy, the scarily good their recommendations get, right? That's because every click you make is feeding the model more data. Or think about your voice assistant. The more you talk to it, the better it gets at understanding your weird accent. That's real-time learning in action. Okay, so we've seen all this incredible stuff ML can do. It's honestly pretty amazing, and it's easy to see why you might start thinking it's some kind of magic brain. But right here is where we need to pump the brakes, because this is the single most important thing to remember. Machine learning looks smart, but it does not and cannot think. And that simple fact, well, it changes the entire conversation. So let's flip the coin over. It's time for a major reality check. Let's dig into what this powerful tool cannot do. This is where we have to get really honest about its limits. And that brings us to the absolute golden rule of all machine learning. You've probably heard this before. Garbage in, garbage out. It's so simple, but so true. A machine learning model is just a mirror. It can only reflect the data you show it. So if your data is biased or incomplete or just flat out wrong, well, the results are going to be just as bad. And this is where the gap between us and machines is just gigantic. We humans have common sense, we have context, we have emotions. A machine, it has statistics. It can look at a photo and say, that's a cat with 99.9% accuracy. But it has absolutely no idea what a cat is. It doesn't know they're fluffy, or they purr, or they like to knock things off tables. To the machine, a cat is just a specific arrangement of pixels that matches a pattern it's seen before. There's no meaning. Because of this confusion, a lot of myths pop up. So let's bust a few, shall we? Myth number 1, ML is always correct. Nope. Reality is, it's all about probability, which means it will definitely make mistakes. Myth number 2, ML is going to replace humans. The reality is, it's designed to assist humans, to be a tool for us. And maybe the biggest myth of all, that ML is perfectly unbiased. No way. The reality is that it just parrots back any biases that are already in the data it was trained on. Let's be crystal clear on this. Machine learning can never be 100% accurate. It's just not how it works. Everything is a probability, an educated guess, not a guarantee. There's always a chance it'll get things wrong. So when Netflix recommends a movie you absolutely hate, that's not a bug. That's just the system working exactly as it's designed to. So if machine learning can't truly understand context and it's guaranteed to make mistakes, what do we do? Well, the answer is us, people. This is why the concept of keeping a human in the loop is so incredibly important. A machine can't make an ethical call. It doesn't have morals. It can't handle those tricky gray areas or understand the why behind a tough decision. That's a human job. We're the ones who have to pick the right data, check it for quality, design the models, and, critically, spot and fix its mistakes. And you know what else? True out-of-the-box creativity and innovation, that's still our turf. Okay, we've seen the good and the bad, the hype and the reality. So let's wrap this all up with the key takeaway you should remember. So here it is, the two sides of the coin. What can ML do? Absolutely. It can learn from data, predict outcomes, automate boring tasks, and get better with experience. What can't it do? It can't think like a person. It's useless without data. It can't be perfectly accurate. It can't make ethical calls, and it can't replace human creativity. You got to know both sides to use the tool properly. If you remember just one thing from our time together, let it be this. Machine learning is an incredibly powerful tool. It is not a replacement for the human brain. It's here to make us smarter, to augment our abilities, not to take our place. So there you have it. The tool is in our hands. We know its strengths and we know its weaknesses. The really big question now isn't about the technology anymore. It's about us. How are we going to use it responsibly? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.